But when his partner rang 999, they were told to make their own way to hospital. An investigation is now underway. Serena Sandhu reports.
Peter Austin and his girlfriend Bobby Tilliard never thought they'd rely so much on a packet of cheese and onion crisps. But it's meant Peter has kept his finger after it was severed when he fell trying to get into Bobby's parents' house.
We hadn't got the keys, so I climbed on top of the gas box outside the front of the house, opened up the little top window, reached in to open the big window.
Then he slipped, catching his ring on the window, tearing off his middle finger.
I looked down and see the shine of my ring on the floor, and I thought, you know, it just come off, just slid off my finger. Till I looked at my finger and there was just nothing there.
He needs an ambulance now.
Bobby called 999 for help, but when an ambulance didn't turn up, she made her own first aid kit.
So I had to pick the finger off the floor, but obviously I didn't want to pick it up with my hands. So I went into my bag and I wanted something that you could close into it and wrap it round kind of thing. So that's all I had in my bag was this crisp packet.
It was then they got the call to say paramedics wouldn't be coming.
Half an hour had gone by with me, you know, with like this, and nothing had happened. Then they told me I had to get my own way, and they asked me if I could drive it.
In a statement, the East of England Ambulance Service told us the matter is going to be investigated fully, and we will put together a report with our findings once that is completed. It's taken 3 weeks for surgeons to finally reattach Peter's finger. They had to temporarily sew it under his armpit to get a blood supply. It's left him scarred for life, and one thing is for certain, he won't ever wear a ring again. Serena Sandhu, Anglia News.
And the East of England Ambulance Service has been issued with a warning over the cleanliness of its vehicles. Unannounced inspections at 7 of the Trust's 100 stations found ambulances with dirty cupboards and grimy seats, according to the Care Quality Commission. They also found staff were unsure about methods to prevent infection. The service says it's launched an urgent and comprehensive review of its ambulance cleaning programme.
Next tonight, a group of young sailors from Suffolk had a bit of expert advice today from a lady who knows more than a little bit about life on the ocean waves.
Round the world yachtswoman Dame Ellen MacArthur took a group of children out on the River Orwell. It was all to promote a website providing information about active short breaks for young people with disabilities. Victoria Webb reports.
There was a sense of excitement at Levington Marina this afternoon as a group of young people were getting ready for a trip along the River Orwell. And who better to show them the ropes than round-the-world yachtswoman Dame Ellen MacArthur.
Sailing is a really special sport, I think, because it's available to all ages and people of all abilities. And the feeling of freedom that you get when you go out on a boat on the water is magic. It's what inspired me at the age of 4 when I first started sailing, and it's fantastic to see groups of people like this taking young people out on the water and really giving them the most incredible experiences.
After getting on board the boat and meeting her crew, it was time to set sail. And they were shortly followed by another group behind them. The young people on the water today all have disabilities, but that hasn't got in the way of them enjoying this sport.
It can be quite relaxing. Nice breeze.
I've been so looking forward to this all day. Yeah.
What's it like when you're out there on the water?
Excellent.
Some of the young sailors on board today have played a big part in a project to give the public online access to information about short breaks for young people and children with disabilities. Today's activity is a great example of what's on offer. The Activities Unlimited website has been developed by Customer Service Direct, a joint venture between Suffolk County Council, Mid-Suffolk District Council and BT. It's been designed so that youngsters, parents and carers will find all they need on the site to experience some great adventures.
Often people who have children with disabilities feel quite isolated. It creates networks amongst the children and amongst their families, and it makes sure that they can really enjoy their leisure time.
To see the smiles on young people's faces, and it can be these little things like watching the bow wave over the bow or seeing a seagull really close. All these different things happen, and it means different things to different people, but the smile is what it's all about.
It's hoped that more young people, no matter what their needs, will now be able to enjoy the activities this area has to offer. Victoria Webb, Anglia News, on the River Orwell.
Dame Ellen MacArthur, such a good sport, isn't she?
Fantastic,
I like her a lot.
yeah. And I think actually today they picked definitely the best day to go out on the water. I think it's meant to be a bit grotty over the weekend.
Oh, is that right? Thank you for that.
So.
Well, Rachel is here with the weather in just a moment. Do stay with us this Friday evening.
Here's what's still to come. More news now from Norfolk, Suffolk and Essex, and the family of a man from Hadleigh critically injured after a hit and run have made an emotional plea for any witnesses to come forward.
Chris Corder, who's 42, was hit by a car 6 days ago whilst delivering parish newsletters. He's been in a coma ever since. Martin Stew reports.
Just to see him lying there, where he's normally fit and healthy, very hard.
Rosemary's brother Chris Corden is still in a critical condition. He's in a coma and doctors don't know if he's suffered brain damage. At lunchtime on Sunday, he was walking along Benton Street in Hadleigh, delivering parish magazines for his mother. It was then he was hit by a car travelling towards Holton St Mary. Witnesses describe seeing a black Jaguar XJ6 like this one being driven away from the scene at speed by a white man in his late 20s or early 30s.
Well, this is probably as serious as you can get. We have a driver who has hit a pedestrian and in fact just then left him lying in the road, serious injury, left him for dead.
Police believe the car could have been damaged by the collision, and Chris's family are desperate for anyone with any information to come forward.
We don't know how it happened. Please come forward and say if he's got friends or family that might notice a bit difference in his character to how he was, if they could say maybe something. Anybody who's seen a car, or say that a garage has had a car in for repairs, anything like that, just anything, please just go to the police and say.
If no one comes forward, detectives say they'll check every black Jaguar in the country. Chris, who lives at home with his parents, has been described as a lovely man who wouldn't hurt a fly. His family just want to know what happened to him. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Hadleigh.
And if you have got any information you think might help the police, you can contact them on 01473 613 500.
Now, the Department for Transport is looking at scrapping tolls on the QE2 bridge, which links Essex and Kent. Its aim is to cut traffic jams on that stretch of the M25. The government's considering two options. One is to increase efficiency through a revised toll layout. The other is to remove the £1.50 toll for southbound travellers using the bridge, while changing the toll layout on the northbound route.
A team of Essex firefighters have flown out to Indonesia to join an international search and rescue operation. That's following the Sumatra earthquake. The 8-strong team met up with other units from around the country at Gatwick Airport earlier this morning. The official death toll in Sumatra now stands at more than 700. The Essex team will use specialist experience in urban search and rescue to try and locate survivors.
The story of a Norfolk town down the centuries is being told in a sound and light show at the parish church. The Sonne Lumiere production in Fakenham uses digital sounds and lighting effects to show the transition from medieval market town to World War II target.
Every single part of this whole event is telling a little bit a story of, like, the visit of John Wesley to the town, things that children may not know. They know what goes on today, but do they know what goes on in the past?